Appeal to authority. Supporting a claim by citing an authority figure, even if they lack expertise in the relevant area. Appeal to nature. Arguing that something is good because it's natural, overlooking potential harms or drawbacks. Ad hominem. Attacking the person instead of addressing their argument, undermining the discussion's rationality. Hasty generalization. Drawing broad conclusions based on insufficient or biased evidence, risking inaccurate generalizations. Red herring. Introducing irrelevant information to divert attention from the main issue, derailing meaningful discourse. 2. Quoque. Dismissing an argument by pointing out the hypocrisy of the person making it, avoiding the core issue. Slippery slope. Assuming a small action will lead to a chain of negative events without sufficient evidence, relying on speculation. Special pleading. Applying double standards or making exceptions for oneself, undermining fair evaluation. Loaded question. Asking a question with a built-in assumption or bias, manipulating responses to support a particular viewpoint. False dilemma. Presenting a limited set of options when more possibilities exist, oversimplifying complex issues. Strawman. Misrepresenting an opponent's argument to make it easier to attack, distorting the true nature of the discussion. Circular reasoning. Restating the argument without providing additional evidence, leading to a logical loop. Composition fallacy. Assuming that what's true for one part must be true for the whole, a hasty generalization about the entirety. Division fallacy. Assuming that what's true for the whole must be true for each part, overlooking individual variations. Affirming the consequent. Drawing an invalid conclusion from a true premise, creating a faulty logical structure. Anecdotal fallacy. Relying on personal experiences or isolated examples to make a general conclusion, lacking statistical validity. Appeal to emotion. Manipulating emotions to win an argument, diverting focus from rational analysis. Burden of proof fallacy. Shifting the burden of proof from the one making the claim, evading the responsibility to support assertions. No True Scotsman. Dismissing counterexamples by changing the definition, avoiding challenges to the original claim. Texas Sharpshooter. Cherry-picking data to suit an argument, presenting a skewed and incomplete perspective. Suppressed correlative. Ignoring alternative explanations or possibilities, limiting the scope of consideration. Personal incredulity. Dismissing something because it's difficult to understand, relying on personal discomfort rather than objective analysis. Ambiguity fallacy. Using unclear language to create confusion, making it challenging to discern the actual argument. Genetic fallacy. Condemning an argument based on its origin, dismissing ideas based on their source rather than content. Middle ground fallacy. Assuming the middle point between two extremes is always correct, oversimplifying complex issues. Affirming the disjunct. Treating two options as mutually exclusive when they aren't, limiting potential alternatives. Appeal to tradition. Arguing that something is right because it's always been done that way, neglecting evolving perspectives. Sunk cost fallacy. Continuing an endeavor because of past investments, despite its futility, emphasizing past commitment over future prospects. Appeal to ignorance. Claiming something is true because it hasn't been proven false, relying on a lack of evidence rather than solid support. Continuum fallacy. Assuming that small steps inevitably lead to an extreme, overlooking the possibility of moderation. Equivocation. Using ambiguous language to mislead or deceive, exploiting multiple meanings of a term. Faulty analogy. Drawing conclusions based on inappropriate or misleading comparisons, risking flawed reasoning. Denying the antecedent. Concluding the opposite based on a false negation of the premise, leading to an unsound argument. False cause. Incorrectly assuming that one event caused another, overlooking alternative explanations. Definist fallacy. Defining something in a way that presupposes a conclusion, circularly justifying the argument. Ecological fallacy. Making inferences about individuals based on group statistics, assuming group characteristics apply universally. Etymological fallacy. Assuming a word's current meaning is determined by its origin, neglecting language evolution. Quoting out of context. Misrepresenting someone by quoting them out of context, distorting the intended meaning. False equivalence. Treating two unequal situations as if they were equivalent, overlooking crucial differences. Historian's fallacy. Assuming people in the past had the same information as present observers, neglecting historical context. Inflation of conflict. exaggerating disagreements or conflicts, intensifying differences beyond their actual significance. Incomplete comparison, making a comparison without considering all relevant factors, leading to skewed conclusions. Ludic Fallacy, applying models derived from games to real-world situations, oversimplifying complex systems. Moralistic Fallacy, assuming that because something is morally right, it must be true, conflating moral and factual considerations. Nirvana Fallacy, rejecting a realistic solution because it's not perfect, setting an impractical standard for acceptance. Proof by assertion, repeatedly asserting a claim as evidence for its truth, lacking substantive support. Cherry picking, selectively presenting only favorable evidence, neglecting contrary information. Psychologists Fallacy, assuming everyone thinks and feels the same way as oneself, projecting personal perspectives onto others. Reification Fallacy, treating an abstraction as if it were a concrete reality, misinterpreting conceptual entities. Retrospective Determinism, assuming events were inevitable after they have occurred, overlooking contingency and uncertainty. Thought-terminating cliché, using a cliché to dismiss or discourage further thought, hindering critical analysis. Fallacy of the single cause, attributing a complex phenomenon to a single cause, oversimplifying causation. Appeal to the stone, dismissing an argument with ridicule or mockery, avoiding substantive engagement. Ignoratio Elenchi, irrelevantly addressing an argument or issue, leading the discussion off course. Circumstantial Ad Hominem, attacking someone based on their circumstances rather than their argument, distracting from the substantive discussion. Tone policing, dismissing an argument based on its delivery rather than its content, focusing on manner rather than substance. Association Fallacy, linking a person or idea with negative connotations without evidence, unfairly connecting unrelated concepts. Appeal to accomplishment, using someone's achievements to validate their argument, relying on personal success rather than logical merit. Courtier's reply, dismissing criticism by claiming the critic lacks sufficient expertise, avoiding substantive engagement. Appeal to consequences, arguing that a belief is true because accepting it has positive consequences, conflating outcomes with truth. Appeal to novelty, assuming something is better because it is new, neglecting the potential drawbacks of innovation. Bulverism, dismissing an argument by attacking the motives or character of the person making it, avoiding substantive engagement. Chronological Snobbery, dismissing old ideas as inferior to modern ones, neglecting the potential wisdom of the past. Entitled to my opinion fallacy, asserting a claim without supporting evidence, relying on personal beliefs rather than reasoned argumentation. Two wrongs make a right, justifying an action by pointing to a similar or worse action, undermining ethical reasoning. Vacuous Truth, asserting something is true because it is empty of content, lacking substantive support. Fallacy Fallacy, concluding that an argument is false because it contains a fallacy, overlooking the possibility of a valid conclusion. If you like this video, subscribe for similar ones or join my Discord to suggest another.